In my previous video, I shared my digital art tools, so to complement that, I'd also like to share my traditional art supplies, at least the ones I frequently use, because I have unopened ones in my hoard. Similar to the previous format, I'm gonna share the art that I've made with the supplies I'll be listing. I wouldn't recommend some of these supplies because I tend to go with the student grade quality. Nevertheless, I still have to declare that I am not sponsored by any of the brands I'll mention, nor am I affiliated with them. So I'll start with what I've been coloring with the most. Markers. I've whipped these alcohol markers out in my Let's Draw videos. This box is a set of 36 Win Plus sketch markers, which I bought at the grocery store for less than $9 US. The box opens into 3 trays, which is cute, but the marker caps are transparent, which is bad for alcohol ink. Even though the colors come out bold and juicy, my biggest con is that the ink is not archival and it tends to stain. They're okay for sketching, but not for professional work. My better markers are in this box. I started my Copic collection with these 3 cool gray tones, then these warm gray tones. The barrel sizes don't make a difference aside from ink capacity. What matters is that both designs have brush tips. Monotone colors make good starter packs to get a handle on shading. I mix these warms and cools sometimes to differentiate between skin and clothes. These Sepia Promarkers are empty, but I keep them out of sentimentality. I also have the gray Promarkers. They're supposed to be cool grays, but they're similar to Copic's warm grays, so eh. Their nibs are a chisel and a bullet, so I use them for flat shading. These square barrels are the ShinHan Touch markers. They're a Korean brand that I bought in Taiwan. Slightly cheaper than Copic's, and they have brush tips. They're close to Copic's tones as well, so I blend the 2 brands together sometimes. Then I have these 2 markers from Daiso. A black marker and a blender. I use the black for adding borders to my sketches, while the blender doesn't live up to its namesake, so I use it to erase ink. My next supplies are in this huge pencil case. It contains my colored brush pens. I have a first impressions video on these if you want my thoughts. I've been using these for line art on my cheap markers. This is the test drawing from the impressions video. And here's another that I had to cut for time. Also in this pencil case, there are Miniso paint markers in gold and silver. The gold is pretty opaque, but the silver one isn't as strong, kinda watery. They're good accents for marker illustrations. Next to them are Marvy Uchida Artist Brush Pens. Just monotone colors again because there's not enough monotone. In the last pocket, I have these Derwent Graphitone pencils. They're water-soluble graphite pencils, but I realize I don't use them as much because I have my markers. I did a few studies with them. Then I have these cheap brush pens. Some from Japan, some from Taiwan. Brush pens are my favorite tool to ink with. I find them satisfying to use because of the variations in line weight and the control I need to get it right. White gel pen for accents, but I don't do sparkles, so it's not used enough. This Stabillo Carbothello is a bad pencil. The lead easily breaks, so I couldn't do a lot of sketching with it before it got this short. This is a water brush for applying water to anything water-soluble, like my brush pens. I don't like using it on actual paints because it's hard to control the water output. Speaking of paints, I still have this small set of Prang watercolors from 10 years ago. They have vibrant pigments and are kinda sweet smelling because of the oil base. I think it's vegetable oil. If you've seen my watercolor sketchbook tour, link in the card, I use these paints for almost all of the illustrations in there. I also bring this set around for travel sketching. Watercolor in general is preferable if I want more shades of color that my markers can't achieve. Moving on to the next pencil case. I have these Uni Pin Fineliners in 0.1, 0.5, 0.7, and a brush pen. I don't actually use the 0.5 and 0.7 for line art, but I draw my line exercises with these pens. This highlighter was a freebie at a store. I don't have textbooks to highlight, so I sketch with these. Which is actually a good idea because unlike graphite, highlighter ink won't clog pens. This is a Schoolism pencil from their live seminar in Dubai a few years ago. It's an HB lead, I think, okay for light sketching. I use this mechanical pencil more since I got free refills from a shop in Taiwan. The thin lead is great for detail work. And I have this little 6B pencil. I graze this at the back of printed sketches, then I trace over the printed side to transfer to my sketchbook. Lastly, I have this set of 24 Prismacolor Premier pencils. I don't color with them often, but when I do, it's for whenever I'm feeling whimsical, like my magic farm ideas. And those are my tools. Leave a comment if, like me, you also like hoarding these things. So many art supplies, so little time, right? Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe for more art videos, both traditional and digital. Bye!